Okay, so where have we got to? Well, we've moved forward a little bit in the last 10 days because now we can load OBJ files with their texture. So we can still load the cubes, but we can also load an OBJ file with its texture included, which I think for somebody that's got no programming knowledge or very little programming knowledge, I think that's rather good to have got to this point. I still can't get the IMGUI tree view to work, list to work properly. I'm still struggling to get my head around that, but I got my head around this, and that was a more important achievement to make. And how's this been done? Well, in the OBJ loader header, I've had to add a few bits. This for getting the information about the materials that are there. The other two things I've had to add is the load MTL file, because it's a material file we're working with, and the load the OBJ texture in there. So that's the two bits in there that we've had to add, and we've also had to add this line as well for the materials. That comes through to here. This is all pretty much the same as it was in the last video for loading the OBJ model. None of this has had to change. I've had to add this piece here, command MTL lib. Now what that's doing is it's looking for in the OBJ file itself, it's looking for this line of code here, and that basically just tells it that the material file we're working with would create MTL, and that file really didn't contain a great deal except for that. We'll come on to that in a minute. None of this has changed, this is all the same. We then have to come through to here. This then calls the load MTL function. This just sets up the path to the file. The file is set manually at the moment in here. This eventually will be set with a dialog box, so when you click add OBJ file, it'll open a file dialog box. You'll select which OBJ you wanna, which model you want to load. So that's all that's setting up. This then, if it can't be opened, gives an error. If it can be opened at the moment, I'm setting it and telling me that it's been opened. Here, all we're literally doing is looping through the lines, and basically what that does, if I open that file again, you can see on there, this is the representation of the positions and such like of the texture, and what texture we're actually using. So it tells the system what texture it's using. Oh god, that was complicated to find all this information out. There is a cheat sheet on the internet that you can actually download with all these bits on. That then comes through to there, where then when we get to the bottom of it, it calls the load texture. We come in here, very similar to the load texture that I use for loading on the cubes and the planes and the other things that I'm already got going. Creates a texture ID, gets some information about the image, the texture, so it's grayscale, JPEG or 24-bit BMP, or if it's a PNG or a 32-bit BMP. That comes through here, does what it does. Just sets it up ready to go. We then come into the loader, the OBJ loader, forgetting what the hell I'm doing here, OBJ loader, sets the vertices up for the object you're loading. Quite interesting to put a breakpoint on that sometimes and see exactly how many vertices there are in some of these models. Quite astounding. Position, normals, texture chords. We have to deal with normals now, whereas before in the shader it didn't really matter. Nothing changed in the fragment shader, but in the default verts we've had to add the normals in now because they're part and parcel of the of everything working. The text coordinates, and then basically we've had to change it a little bit here because we have to bind the textures for each material. So we have to do like a little loop. This was how Copilot helped me with this, to get this, because I was really struggling to get this to work, and Copilot come up with this little bit of code. So thank you, Copilot. Saved my bacon yet again. And it all works, and I am absolutely over the moon with it. It's for somebody as dim as what I am, I'm amazed that I've been able to, and I do understand an awful lot of it. I've worked out such a lot of what's actually going on. And it is quite nice to be able to do this stuff. A few bits still to do. I've got to get that working in the list box so as I can select the object and then reposition it and stuff like that. At some point I'm going to have to do picking. I'm going to have to try to work it out. You can put the mouse on an object, click it, and it'll be selected. I've had a couple of goes at it and it's way over my head at the moment, so that's got to wait. So yeah, it's, you know, it's coming together. And there we go, there's our 3D object. It's an OBJ file loaded complete with its texture. The textures are all in the right order as well. As you go around it, you can see they're all on there correctly as it was modelled, not by me. I'm really pleased with that. What I want to be able to do now is be able to select it in here, like if there was a cube on here, I'll have to go back out because that cube's going to be right in the middle of that box, I think. No, I don't know where the cube went or what happened to the cube. Anyhow, that's not what I'm doing, so that's irrelevant. I'm really chuffed with how it's all going at the moment, so thanks for watching if you did.